Welcome back to the channel. My name is Abom and it's time for another look at a preview of one of the groups in Euro 2020 in Football Manager. Of course, we're going to be simulating the tournament on Football Manager, seeing as the tournament's been pushed back to next year in real life because of the pandemic. And today we're looking at Group E, so it is one more to go after this. There's 6 groups, this is number 5. Next video we'll be looking at Group F. The video after that will be the very first game, but today we're looking at Group E, which features 2 previous winners of this competition. France, the current world champions, Spain, winners of Euro 2008 and 2012, and it also features the Republic of Ireland and Serbia. Just a reminder that the groups will not be the same as they are in real life because of the limitations of Football Manager, and unless there's a way you can do it with the editor, which I don't know about, we're going to go with the fixtures that we've got at the moment. And another reminder that the results in their qualification campaigns will not be the same as they were in real life. So as always, we're going to go through the 4 teams that are in this group. We're going to have a look at how they got here and the 23-man squad that they are taking. Matches in this group will take place in the Aviva Stadium in Dublin, Ireland, and in San Mamés Stadium in Bilbao in Spain. So France, not a host city, because of course they've just hosted the European Championship just 4 years ago, so they don't get a host city. Instead, Spain have all 3 games of theirs in Bilbao, Ireland have 2 out of 3, and France versus Serbia will also take place in Dublin. So the first 2 games of this group will be going out on Monday the 15th of June, one at 5 o'clock and one at 7:45, and we start off with a huge tie between 2 former champions in Spain and France. Let's have a look at them a little bit more closely. So Spain, the 3-time winners of the European Championships in 1964, 2008 and 2012, and the 1-time world champions from 2010. Last tournament they lost in the round of 16 and they lost 2-0 to Italy. They are ranked number 8 in the world, managed by Luis Enrique. Spain qualified for the Euros as the winners of Group F, winning 8, drawing 1 and losing 1 of their 10 games. Where they dropped points was those final 2 games. They lost 2-1 at home to Romania. Sergio Ramos was sent off before half time, and they followed that with a disappointing result, drawing against the Faroe Islands. I'm going to point out that David De Gea scored a 6.2 in that game, so there may have been some mistakes from the Spanish goalkeeper. But apart from those final 2 games, every other match ended in victory, with just 1 goal conceded. That was in a 3-1 win at home against Norway. Let's have a look at some of the players then that didn't quite manage to make the squad. PSG's Juan Bernat and Pablo Sarabia not making the team. Dani Carvajal, Real Madrid, not making the team, the right back. No Marcos Alonso, no Paco Alcacer. Interesting squad that they're going with. Some big players missing out, but let's have a look at their 23-man squad. David De Gea is the first choice goalkeeper from Manchester United. Kepa Arrizabalaga is probably close behind him in second place. The Chelsea goalkeeper Sergio Rico is the third keeper, currently playing for Paris Saint-Germain on loan from Sevilla. In the defenders we have Jordi Alba of Barcelona, Cesar Azpilicueta of Chelsea, Marc Bartra plays for Real Betis, Inigo Martinez of Athletic Bilbao, Nacho of Real Madrid, Alvaro Odriozola of Bayern Munich, Sergio Ramos of Real Madrid, and Sergio Roberto of Barcelona. So strong defence, despite missing out on a few players like Alonso. It's a good defensive lineup. Midfielders we have Marco Asensio of Real Madrid, Sergio Busquets of Barcelona, Fabian of Napoli, Koke of Atletico Madrid, Dani Parejo of Valencia, Rodri, the Manchester City defensive midfielder, Saul Niguez of Atletico Madrid, and Thiago Alcantara of Bayern. And the forwards, just 4, but I think some of the midfielders can push up into the wide areas and inside forwards and the like. But the 4 forwards, we have Isco of Real Madrid, Alvaro Morata of Atletico, Rodrigo of Valencia, and Iñaki Williams of Athletic Bilbao. So a good Spain squad. Of course, they have done well in this tournament previously. Last time they got through the group, but that was it. Let's see if they can go any further in this tournament. But they're facing the current world champions France, of course, winning the 2018 World Cup in Russia, and maybe for the second time could become world and European champions simultaneously after their victories in 1998 in the World Cup and in Euro 2000. Spain, of course, have also been world and European champions after their wins in the European Championships and the World Cup between 2008 and 2012. So they were also world and European champions at one point, which France could do a second time in this tournament. Has anyone ever actually done that twice? Has anyone ever won a World Cup and the Euros one after the other more than once? I'm interested to see if that's actually happened before. France and Didier Deschamps qualifying through Group H as the winners, winning 9 and drawing 1 of their 10 games. So an unbeaten campaign by France. The only time they failed to win was a 1-1 draw at home against Turkey, and that was close. They actually needed a 90th minute goal from Anthony Martial to save a point in that one, so that could have been a defeat but for that late goal. Otherwise, they won every game and again conceded just one goal. That goal was at home against Iceland and Gylfi Sigurdsson getting that. Every other game ended with a clean sheet. Amongst the absentees for France is Juventus Adrien Rabiot. Had a bit of a poor showing for Juventus in this first season there as a free transfer from PSG. Didn't work out too well for him, unfortunately. Looking at some of the other players that missed out, Kurt Zouma, Presnel Kimpembe, Moussa Dembele. Other players that missed out, Tiémoué Bakayoko of Monaco, and Ndombele, Spurs midfielder. But of course France, one of the favourites for the tournament, I think. Could very well go all the way, we'll have to wait and see. But the 23-man squad looks like this. Hugo Lloris will be the first choice goalkeeper from Tottenham Hotspur, with Alphonse Areola second choice for Real Madrid, and Steve Mandanda also going the Marseille goalkeeper. Defenders, we have Leo Dubois, the right back from Lyon, Lucas Hernandez, left back from Bayern, Aymeric Laporte of Manchester City, Clément Lenglet of Barcelona, Benjamin Mendy also of Man City, Benjamin Pavard, who scored that cracking goal in the World Cup, remember, playing for Bayern, Sam Umtiti of Barcelona, and Rafael Varane of Real Madrid round out the defenders. Central midfield, not looking too bad, could maybe do with a few more men in there. They've got a lot of players in the forward options, but in midfield we do have Nabil Fekir, who's a bit more of an attacking midfielder. Fekir plays for Real Betis. N'Golo Kanté of Chelsea, of course, Blaise Matuidi of Juventus, Paul Pogba of Manchester United, and Corentin Tolisso, who plays for Bayern. And we have 7 players that can play sort of as a striker or as a wide player, like attacking players. We have Kingsley Coman of Bayern, Ousmane Dembele, who's recovered from that long-term injury, playing for Barcelona, Antoine Griezmann, who now of course plays for Barcelona, quite a recent signing, Alexander Lacazette of Arsenal, Thomas Lemar of Atletico, Anthony Martial of Manchester United, and Kylian Mbappe, who I think is going to be one of the star men of the tournament from Paris Saint-Germain. Could well win the Golden Boot, but we'll have to wait and see. So France and Spain face each other in the first game of the group, and on paper you'd expect both those teams to get through in this group, but there are 2 other nations in this group who could provide a surprise or could go through to the knockouts in third place. We'll have to wait and see how they do. One of which is the third home nation in this tournament. Of course, we had England and Wales in the last group, and the Republic of Ireland are in this group. The boys in the green looking to progress to a knockout stage. Northern Ireland and Scotland both got to the playoffs but did not quite make it. Ireland did have to beat Northern Ireland in a playoff to get to this point, but in the qualification group D, they finished in third place behind Denmark and Switzerland with 15 points, 5 wins and 3 defeats, no draws in their 8 matches. Started off with 3 wins, beating Georgia and Switzerland away before a 3-0 home win against Gibraltar. They then lost 2 at home, losing 2-1 at home to Denmark and 1-0 against Georgia before wins against Switzerland and Gibraltar, and then ending with a 1-0 loss in Copenhagen. As mentioned, they did beat Northern Ireland in the playoffs in the semi-final. That was 1-0 with Shane Long scoring, and then in the finals it was between Ireland and Iceland to get that last place, but it was a 2-1 win for the Irish in Reykjavik with Jeff Hendrick and Shane Duffy scoring to put them through to the finals. A couple of warm-up games before the tournament ended with quite strong wins, 3-0 at home against Kazakhstan and 4-0 against Estonia. A hip injury to Enda Stevens means the Sheffield United defender will not be making the team. Sean Morrison of Cardiff also not in the team, and Bournemouth's Harry Arter missing out. Other absentees include Scott Hogan of Aston Villa, Dara Lenihan of Blackburn, and Fulham's Cyrus Christie also missing out. But the Republic of Ireland, Mick McCarthy choosing this 23-man squad. Rob Elliott, the first choice goalkeeper from Newcastle. Max O'Leary is second from Bristol City, and Darren Randolph is also taken, the West Ham goalkeeper. With the defenders, we have Newcastle's Kieran Clark, Seamus Coleman of Everton, Greg Cunningham of Cardiff, Matt Doherty of Wolverhampton, Brighton's Shane Duffy, John Egan of Sheffield United, Kevin Long of Burnley, Joe Rafferty from Preston North End, and Stephen Ward from Stoke. In the midfield, we've got Alan Brown, we've got Jeff Hendrick of Burnley, Conor Hurahan of Villa, Liam Kelly of Feyenoord, and James McCarthy from Crystal Palace. And then the forwards, Patrick Bamford, one of the first choice strikers playing for Leeds United. We've got Robbie Brady from Burnley. Burnley represented a lot in this team. Shane Long from Southampton, Aidan O'Brien from Millwall, Troy Parrott, the youngster from Tottenham Hotspur, only 18, one of the youngest players in the tournament. And lastly, Callum Robinson from Sheffield United. So Ireland, in only their 4th European Championship in 2016, they did get to the round of 16 via the playoff. Hopefully they can get a good enough record to get through the group stage and qualify for a consecutive second round. But they've got competition from Serbia. The team ranked number 32 are the 4th team and the final team in this group. Serbia managed by Ljubisa Tumbakovic, and in their qualifying group they were in 2nd place. That was in Group B, finishing behind Portugal with 16 points. The Ukraine, who didn't make the tournament amazingly, not far behind Serbia, finishing in 3rd, but Serbia qualified for the finals with no need for a playoff, so not too bad for them. And of their 8 games, they won 5, they drew 1, and they lost 2. Those defeats both came to Portugal. It was 1-0 in Belgrade, and it was a 4-0 win in Lisbon. They actually saw Ukraine off in that last qualifying game. It was a 1-0 victory for them in Kiev, with Sergej Milinkovic-Savic scoring a penalty, the only goal in the game, to send Serbia through to the qualifiers and Ukraine into the playoffs. They had one warm-up game, which was a draw against Denmark, and it's probably going to be between Serbia and Iceland for at least that 3rd place finish, and maybe they could upset one of Spain or France. Absentees from the Serbia squad: Filip Kostic of Eintracht Frankfurt, Nemanja Radoja of Levante. I think it's a relatively strong squad for Serbia considering some of their key players, but let's have a look at the team in full then. Marko Dimitrovic of Eibar is the first choice goalkeeper. Predrag Rajkovic is also taken from Stade Reims, and Vladimir Stojkovic of Partizan Belgrade is the 3rd goalkeeper. In defence, we've got the 36-year-old Branislav Ivanovic, probably one of the oldest players in the tournament, playing for Zenit. Alexander Kolarov, 34, of Roma, also going, so 2 old players so far. Nikola Maksimovic of Napoli is also amongst the defenders. Nikola Milenkovic of Fiorentina. Matija Nastasic, a former Man City man, now at Schalke. Milan Rodic of Red Star Belgrade, Uros Spajic of Krasnodar, and Nenad Tomovic of Spal. In the midfielders, we've got Marko Grujic at Herthel on loan from Liverpool, Adam Ljajic of Besiktas, Sasa Lukic of Torino, Nemanja Maksimovic of Getafe, Nemanja Matic of Manchester United, Sergej Milinkovic-Savic of Lazio, a very talented central midfielder, and Crystal Palace's Luka Milivojevic rounds out the midfielders in the Serbia squad. Luka Jovic is going to be one to watch in the tournament, very talented young player for Real Madrid, 22 years old. Alexander Katai of LA Galaxy in the squad, Alexandra Mitrovic also from Fulham, Prijovic from Al Ittihad in Saudi Arabia, and Dusan Tadic lastly from Ajax. It seems quite easy to say that France and Spain will get through as 1st and 2nd in this group. The order of that is to be determined. But Ireland and Serbia, you would expect them to finish 3rd and 4th, but again, it's about which order that's going to be in, and if the 3rd place team gets good enough results to qualify for the round of 16. But we could see a surprise. We could see one of Spain or France go out. I guess we'll find out very soon who's staying and who's going. We've got one more group to look at, and that group is Group F, the final group, and that features Germany, the former world champions, Norway, Switzerland, and Turkey, the other 3 teams in that group. So it could be difficult for Germany. We'll see how they do. Norway, of course, Erling Haaland going to be one to watch out for, but we'll have a good look at our final group next video, and then after that will be Friday, 12th of June, the next one, and that's going to be the first game of the tournament, Italy versus Austria. And every game will be a premiere on YouTube, so you can watch along with me, and as long as I'm available, I'll be in chat. You can chat while the game's going on, and it's going to be really fun, so it's nearly upon us. But that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, drop a like down below, leave comments, and if you haven't done so already, or if you're new, then do consider subscribing and turning on notifications. One more group to look at, Group F next time. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.